story. And it says in the biography, the mini bio that Jan posted on Facebook, it talks about there are two things in my life that were the catalyst for drastic change in me. My best friend Mikey, of almost 18 years, died of an overdose. We will never probably know if it was intentional, but I had spoken with him a few days before. He actually called me on the day that he died and suffered from the disease of addiction. And then my cousin Jared, who passed away 3 years ago, almost to the day. So November 19th is a day that's forever in my heart. Comes on the end of my dad's birthday, which is, I don't know how to compare that right now, but so alcoholism runs in my family. You heard a lot about Jared's life, and I said there's just so many wonderful things about him. Well, unfortunately, the disease of alcoholism touches me. Alcoholism and addiction. And it almost took my life too. So 3 years ago, I was sober. I'm not sure how much time I had that time, but I was sober, and I remember I was driving to a meeting, and I was going down, I lived in Michigan, and I was going down a road, and it was Mount Hope Road. And my mom called me. Whatever, I'm driving, because I'm not safe when I drive, right? I'm talking on my cell phone. I'm just kidding, I'm safer now, guys. But I was driving down the road, and my mom, she said, "Hey, what are you doing?" I said, "Well, I'm driving, I'm going to a meeting, Mom, what are you doing?" She says, "Mandy, you need to pull over." I was like, why? She's like, "Mandy, I have to tell you something, and I need you to pull over." Ironically enough, I was driving by a cemetery. It was on my right, Mount Hope Cemetery. So I pulled beyond the cemetery and pulled over on the road, and she says, is your car in park? I said, "Mom, yes, my car's in park." She says, "Honey, Jared took his own life today." Had I been standing, I probably would have hit my knees. I don't want to cry. This is the first time that I've spoken about it at all, really. And it hit me. I knew he was an alcoholic. I knew he had PTSD. I knew that he's a fisher. We all just carry these traits and these genetics that affect us. And I idolized him. I idolized his discipline. I idolized his family. I'm 36, still not married, ladies and gentlemen. But I got 3 beautiful kids. I idolized him. He was my favorite cousin when I was growing up, and all my cousins were my favorite, but he was my favorite cousin. He was still my favorite cousin. I loved him, and it felt broken. And he didn't really know what to say, so I'm not sure I could speak, probably through the tears. But I thought, and as time went on, past that moment and past that day, I had this renewed strength and this renewed hope that I am not going to let this disease take my life. Amen. I am not going to let my disease take my family. That's right. And I do it for you, Jared. I do it because you sacrificed for your country and for me so that I could learn and live. Unfortunately, my life went a little differently, and I did fall off the wagon. And I spent about 8 months out drinking again. And then Michael Joe happened. And that was at the end of Labor Day weekend last year. And I got a Facebook message from a friend I hadn't spoken to in years, except for Facebook, but we had been really good friends. And he said, "Mandy, I need you to call me." And I already knew. This one I knew. And I'm like, "What happened to Mikey?" He says, "Mikey died. He overdosed last night, and he died." And I was still drinking, and I was drunk that day when I got that message. That my best friend, that I couldn't help because I tried to help him for years, even through my own struggles, that he had died. And he had talked to me about this hopelessness that he had. This feeling, he was homeless, he was alone. And I couldn't even take care of myself. How could I take care of him? I mean, I had kids that I was, not able to care for appropriately. What do you do, So some things happened over the next several months, and I wanted to quit drinking, and there was this renewed spirit of, like, these two people cannot have died in vain. Like, they had people that loved them. And sometimes love isn't enough. And I can't feel guilty over Mikey's death, because it wasn't my fault. I can be sad, and I can grieve for that, and I can be really freaking pissed off at him. And I can be really pissed off at Jared. Because there's days I am. But in September of last year, I got sober. Again, moved here. Got sober, guys. And there is not, in the 3 years since Jared's been gone, in the year that almost a year and a half Mikey's been gone, there's not a day that goes by that I don't remember them in some way. That I don't think of them and pray for them. And I don't know how many of you are believers in here, but it's really weird because I feel like Jared's my guardian angel. Jared is just always with me. And I'm gonna quick story about my grandmother. Like, he was talking about fishers, and I'll tell you what, we are some hard-headed, we are something.
No, we're not.
Don't put us all in the same room, because somebody's walking out with black eyes, and I mean, you just can't get us all together.
She ain't lying.
A lot of us have quit drinking though since then, so it's gotten better. But my grandma, the day that she died, like I said, I don't know, I might sound crazy right now. But this was years ago, and I was drinking and drugging back then. Like, this is not my first attempt at sobriety. This is the best one, but this is not my first. And my grandma, she was passed already, and I'm sitting at her bedside table, and it was like I had just walked in, and I swear to goodness that woman reached up, dead, and slapped me across the face and said, "Get your crap together." I'm telling you that Jared, that drill sergeant, when I am struggling and I'm fighting, and I feel hopeless, because I still feel that way, It's like he's standing there telling me, in many cuss words, so just use your imagination. Get your poop in a group, Mandy. Like, you are a fisher, and you are strong, and you don't have to do what I did. And I think, as bad as it hurts, and I think trite might be the word I'm looking for, as trite as it sounds, I'm grateful that he sacrificed so that I could live. I don't wish that on anybody, but it saved my life. It gave me hope for a better tomorrow, for myself and for the world. So thank you.